Now, I'm sure most of you, especially the ladies, have a dream wedding. And for the gentlemen, a dream bachelor party. If you would, I would like you all to close your eyes and explore your imaginations with me. Oh, come on, don't be shy. Now, I want you to picture the colors you would pick out for this special day. For the ladies, picture yourself in your beautiful white gown. Imagine the rings, who the bridesmaids are going to be, or the groomsmen, what you want to be served at the reception. Imagine what your cake is going to look and taste like. And of course, who will be walking down the aisle, or who will be waiting for you at the altar when you come to say, I do. Now, I would like you to imagine what it would be like if your natural human right to marry the one you love was taken away from you, whether it be for the color of your skin, your religion, or in my case, your sexual orientation. Go ahead and open your eyes. Today, I would like to discuss with you past issues that were looked at to be morally wrong throughout our nation's history, and what it took for them to be considered normal in today's society. The issues I will be discussing today include racial segregation and how it is now considered to be discriminatory, interracial marriage, and for today's issue, same-sex marriage. Please take a look around. Recognize the differences in your fellow classmates. Some of you have straight hair, curly hair. Some of you have blue eyes, brown eyes. These are all things that I believe we are born with, and most of which cannot be changed. Sexual orientation is one of those issues in which I believe we are born with. Now, could you imagine being discriminated against on something you didn't even have an option of choosing to be in the first place? Now, how many of you would agree that it is okay to judge people based on their differences? Anyone? I didn't think so. But discrimination has been around for centuries, and it amazes me time and time again how people throughout history have, in one way or another, tried to put people down, try to put different groups of people down. In our country, we've seen this in racial prejudices, which included racial segregation. According to LOC.gov, the Library of Congress, after the Civil War, slavery was abolished in the United States by means of the 13th Amendment. This gave newly freed African Americans legal status. Between the years 1873 and 1883, while the Constitution was being reconstructed, the Supreme Court allegedly made a few decisions that essentially nullified the work of Congress by passing segregation laws. And it wasn't until May 17th, 1954, a whole 81 years later, when the Supreme Court announced its undisputed decision that school segregation violated the 14th Amendment. The Supreme Court ordered desegregation with all deliberate speed after the Brown versus Board of Education ruling, which paved the way in shaping future national and international policies regarding human rights. In Florida, 10 years after the Supreme Court ruling to desegregate, a case concerning interracial marriage was brought forth to the Supreme Court under the name McLaughlin versus the State of Florida, 1964, according to About.com. In the case of the McLaughlins, they were prohibited from marrying under the law due to the fact that they were an interracial couple. The couple chose to live with each other, though it was illegal for them to marry in that state. Because they chose to do so, the McLaughlins were convicted under Florida Statute 798.05. The law stated, any Negro man and white woman, or any white man and legal woman, who are not married to each other, who shall habitually live in and occupy in the same, in the nighttime the same room, shall each be punished by imprisonment not exceeding 12 months, or by fine not exceeding $500. The Supreme Court had a 9-0 ruling stating that Statute 798.05 violated the 14th Amendment and was immediately removed. This case opened the door to legalizing interracial marriage, which passed 3 years later due to the Loving versus Virginia 1967 case. Unfortunately, we are facing a similar setback today with same-sex marriage. Though this problem doesn't have to do with race, it does have to do with sexual orientation. We've learned that under the 14th Amendment, Section 1, no state shall make or enforce any laws which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of citizens of the U.S., nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. This means that those fighting to outlaw same-sex marriage are violating our natural right as Americans under the 14th Amendment. As we've seen in the past, people have attempted to interpret the Constitution to their own liking. They may have succeeded for a short period of time, but as we've seen in cases with racial segregation and the illegalization of interracial marriage, things do change in time. I believe that if someone feels the need to fight for their rights, or they feel that they are being cast out by society, then it must be wrong on some level. And it hurts me inside to know that our society is making the same mistakes as we've seen in the past. It almost seems as though people will look for reasons to make others feel less than or not as equal. Lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transgenders may have the right to have civil unions or domestic partnerships, but that is not the same as marriage. This is where we are repeating history with separate but equal, as we did in racial segregation. Back then, it was bluntly said that African Americans had everything white Americans had. It was simply separate. It was a mistake then. How is it acceptable now? I hope that one day I will be able to marry my partner of 3 years without being bound by any laws that do not consider us to be as equal as heterosexual couples. I look forward to being an equal citizen again, having the same rights that you all have. Today, I would like to leave you with a quote by Ellen DeGeneres. She said, "Maybe it's because I'm gay that I think we should all be equal, but I really feel that we're all equal." I don't know what people are scared of. Maybe they think that their children would be influenced, and I've got to say, I was raised by 2 heterosexuals. I was surrounded by heterosexuals. Just everywhere I looked, heterosexuals, and they did not influence me. But people are going to be who they're going to be. We need to learn to accept them for who they are and let them love who they want to love. Thank you.
All right, Ricardo, what did you think?
The beginning, her attention to bisexual was good. I know she got my attention when she was talking about food quality. Her outline was good. She stated what she was going to talk about. The main points that she gave, racial segregation in the past and same-sex marriages today. It's pretty good. Every time she used the source, she cited it, which I did. She did a good job on it. Her supporting materials, the example she gave, as far as McLaughlin versus the state of Florida, was a good example. And also some personal examples she gave about malpractice, she did good. Her eye contact was really good. The only time she looked down was when she was citing her sources, so I think she did a good job making a connection with the audience. As far as gestures, she did kind of pace back and forth a little bit, but I think it's better than just standing there and not moving at all. So overall, I think she did a pretty good job.
All right. Let me stop this.